Everyone and welcome to part 41 of my F1 Challenge Career Mode. Today we are going to Canada to the Gilles Villeneuve circuit. We managed to win last time out in Monaco, a very hectic race with only 3 finishers. Obviously not a proper race because the AI didn't know how to drive, but in Canada they do, so we're going to have a challenge on our hands in the BAR to be able to get anywhere near the race win or a podium, but we will try. As you can see, we're 4th in the constructors and 6th in the drivers. We hope to better that in this race, but I'll now hand you over to the commentator.
Just before the free practice session begins, let's take a quick look at the Drivers' Championship. Michael Schumacher is running away with the Drivers' Championship. David Coulthard, 2nd. Montoya, 3rd. Well, that covers the drivers. Let's take a quick look at the constructors next. Ferrari lead the Constructors' Championship. McLaren are 2nd. Williams are 3rd. Located on the Ile Notre Dame, just minutes away from downtown Montreal, the circuit Gilles Villeneuve combines of slow to medium speed chicanes and 1 hairpin. Despite being a dedicated motorsports facility, the barriers around circuit Gilles Villeneuve are very close to the track, giving the circuit a distinctly street feel.
We start off in practice, and the first thing to happen in practice was that Jordan actually bumped into us as we left our pit garage, but on track things felt good with the car. I went down the inside of a Jordan, spun at the hairpin, and this was weird because the other Jordan decided not to go down the inside, decided to turn left and crash into me, which was very interesting. But as you can see, I was fastest at that point until Ralf Schumacher beat me at a 1:22.2, but I had really good pace around this track, surprisingly. Even with a decent amount of fuel in my car, I beat that with a 22.1, then later on in the session I believe I improved it even further to a 22.1 and then further on to 21.4. So as you can see, we have great pace as we now go into qualifying, and as you can see I've got the wet tyres on because it was wet conditions, but it wasn't raining, so it was drying up. And I did see some people on this lap switching onto intermediates, but I decided to finish the lap anyway as Juan Pablo Montoya said 1:33.8. We didn't come across the line to absolutely smash down at 28.8, and I can't see anything as I head towards the first corner, and I just hit the back of Marquez there and he loses his rear wing. We're going to have to pit anyway, so we do, and we're on to the intermediates for our next run. And as you can see, no one's beat us as of yet, but as I go across the last chicane, Mika Häkkinen just beats me by about 0.03 of a second. But as you can see later on, I managed to improve to a 28.2, and on the intermediates I had really good pace, and I think this turned out to be my fastest lap of the session. Yes, it did. I managed to do a 27.3, so that's a decent time, as you can see when the Williams coming out of the pits, and we'll see where we end up on the grid.
Hello there. Welcome to Canada for round 8 of the 2001 FIA Formula One World Championship. The weather, as so often is the case here, is just wonderful. Over 30 degrees and climbing. It's a fantastic day for Formula One. Michael Schumacher, 1st. Coulthard, 2nd. Mika Häkkinen, 3rd. Juan Pablo Montoya, 4th. Ralf Schumacher, 5th. The BAR driver put on a fantastic display throughout the qualifying hour. He starts this race from a very promising 6th. Kimi Räikkönen, 7th. Rubens Barrichello just failed to match the pace of his championship rival, the BAR driver. Jacques Villeneuve couldn't quite match the pace of his teammate. He starts 9th. Eddie Irvine, 10th. Pedro de la Rosa, 11th. Heidfeld, 12th. Heinz-Harald Frentzen, 13th. Jarno Trulli, 14th. Jenson Button, 15th. Giancarlo Fisichella, 16th. Alesi, 17th. Jos Verstappen, 18th. Luciano Berti, 19th. Fernando Alonso, 20th. Enrique Bernoldi, 21st. Marquez, 22nd.
We start in 6th this Canadian Grand Prix, a reasonable position. We've got Rubens Barrichello, I believe, behind us out of position, but we have the lights. Lights out and away we go, and Kimi Räikkönen's got to best start to the left hand side. There's a bit of a left flag, so maybe somebody hasn't started on the grid, but we switch to the inside We just about got away with that. And down the inside of Ralf Schumacher as well. Seems to be McLaren off-roading in front, which is very interesting. Another yellow flag slightly pops up, so it'll be interesting to see what happened near the back. As we head into the first sector, you see that we are pretty quick at the moment. We're in 5th place. We're not dropping off the back of Juan Pablo Montoya just yet, but we're hoping we can maybe make a move into this left-hander. There's a decent braking zone here, but we're not close enough. But Juan Pablo Montoya actually goes defensive. But we're now going to look at a replay of the start, and you can see that one of the arrows didn't start there right at the back. And I don't know what exactly happened between the McLarens, but one of the McLarens ends up just going spearing off the road, then coming back on. Managed to keep it together though, and Juan Pablo Montoya was on the inside of David Coulthard up to the next corner, but David Coulthard managed to keep the position, and we are in 5th place hoping to catch Juan Pablo Montoya. But this is what happened between the McLarens. So it's a very similar situation to what happened with me and Michael Schumacher in Monaco actually, but because of the way the track is at Canada, they could actually survive it, unlike what happened to Michael Schumacher. But at the end of lap 1 on the hairpin, managed to nearly get around the outside of Juan Pablo Montoya there. Very surprised about that. So we're going to slipstream him down into the very famous chicane. Can we take Juan Pablo Montoya for 4th place in this Grand Prix? We're going to go to the inside. We've got the speeds. We're hitting 190 miles an hour as we head into the braking zone. And looks like we've got Juan Pablo Montoya. Is he going to cut across the chicane as the AI have done in previous years? No, he doesn't. And we now need to look at David Coulthard in the following laps. But for some reason, the Williams went to the inside there, really compromised his line into the hairpin. And of course, that allowed us to hook up a decent slipstream going all the way down this massive straight. Now, Canada is one of my favourite tracks in the calendar. I mean, not just in terms of driving, but in terms of watching. So I was really looking forward to racing this race, as of course we had the victory last time out in Monaco as well, so I was feeling on a roll. Although the victory in Monaco a little bit hollow because there are only 3 finishes, but on lap 2 we're close enough to David Coulthard now to maybe make a move into the first corner. We've hooked up the slipstream again. Michael Schumacher's leading this race from Mika Häkkinen, but we're going to go down the inside of David Coulthard for 3rd place in this Grand Prix. Really good pace that we're showing at this time. Other podiums that we've had have been because of people falling out of the race or because of 2 stopping. We've been 1 stopping, but at the moment it looks like we've got the pace anyway to be able to pass them. So we'll see what happens in this race as we are catching up Mika Häkkinen on lap 4, a couple of laps later. We're going to go down the inside at turn 2. Are we going to make it stick? No, we're not. A little bit of contact because naturally the understeer drags you wide, but I just couldn't get past Mika Häkkinen there. But then I hit him in the next corner and go for a slide. And I'm very lucky because David Coulthard isn't close enough to have an overtake. We see that I just outbroke myself and yeah, just went for a little bit of a slide around that corner. Held it together though. As you can see, Mika Häkkinen goes to the inside again with his hairpin. Do exactly the same things I did to Juan Pablo Montoya. And am I going to slipstream and down all the way down this straight and maybe pass Mika Häkkinen for 2nd place in this Grand Prix? Who would have thought it? In Monaco you would have thought it because of the way the AI can't drive around there. They are terrible. But here they can drive perfectly fine. We've got the slipstream, and are we going to go down the inside? No, we're not. We're not quite close enough. We're going to shape ourselves up for a nice slipstream down the pit straight. And are we going to get Mika Häkkinen for 2nd place in this Grand Prix? We're going to go to the outside now. Yes, we are. And are we going to make it? Is Mika Häkkinen still going to be the inside? No, we've made it. Although we've gone a little bit wide in that corner, but we've made it. And then on lap 8, it took a long time for me to even get anywhere near Michael Schumacher. And then I realised Michael Schumacher was faster than the others by quite a bit, about 6/10 I'd say. I'd say I was probably the fastest car on the circuit. I kept on setting fastest laps and I just couldn't get close enough in the right areas. I mean, round turn 2 I was catching up, as you saw there, and we're going to see again with gaps Mika Häkkinen a little bit. And as you can see, I'm so close. Even hit him there. A little bit of a hurry up bump to Michael Schumacher. But on lap 16 we're going to go down the inside of Michael Schumacher. Are we going to make it stick? Yes we are, but we've gone a little bit wide in the next corner and he's come back at us, and Michael Schumacher now retakes the lead. We're going to slipstream him down into the next corner. We're going to go for a lunge. We're going to do it. We're going to go down the inside, and have we made it? Yes we have. A very good move. Michael Schumacher cuts across the chicane, but we stay ahead. As we head into the end of the first sector, we're moved into 1st place, but we're then going to drive on the curb. We get hooked on the curb and we've gone for a spin, and this is terrible news just after we've taken the lead. And we're now going to try and rejoin the circuit, but a bit reckless driving from me, and we hit Juan Pablo Montoya. Very lucky not to get knocked off a front wing, or worse, the suspension, as Juan Pablo Montoya went flying off, and he didn't get any damage either, surprisingly. We're going to take a look at a replay of that move. You see that went down the inside of Michael Schumacher. Very nice move indeed. But then towards the next corner, I just caught it on that curb, and that curb seemed to be a bit deadly, because it did happen once in practice, I believe, when I spun on that curb. If you just take the wrong trajectory around it, your wheels get locked inside and there's pretty much no stopping it from spinning. But when I rejoined the circuit, I just didn't look because I was too busy trying to think I'm not going to be able to win this race if I don't join quick enough. So I didn't see Juan Pablo Montoya, but then the Ralf Schumacher went past and Rubens Barrichello, so I think we're down into 7th place. But I'm not too worried about that because our pace is pretty decent and not that far ahead. Juan Pablo Montoya slid off the track, but no damage to him as we went past an arrows that was stuck in first gear, and that slowed down the people in front, which was a blessing to us in lap 17. And we're going to slipstream Ralf Schumacher down this main straight. We're very close to him, might even pass him before the chicane. We've got the slipstream, we've got the speed. We're going to pull side by side with the Williams and Ralf Schumacher, but it seems like he's got more power in that Williams compared to our Honda engine. And then we're going to go into the brake zone, but we nearly hit the back of Rubens Barrichello there because we were down the inside. We just couldn't get the turn in. I ended up cutting it, but I knew I had to make up decisions as quick as possible. We are going to line up Rubens Barrichello into the first corner. We're going to go down the inside, bit of a lunge, but we've made it. Completely clean move, and now we need to focus on Juan Pablo Montoya just in front of me, who we managed to catch up on the next lap. Are we going to overtake him for 4th place? We're making our way back up to the front. We're going to go down the inside of Juan Pablo Montoya, another pretty easy move. I knew I needed to make these moves stick as soon as possible. I couldn't lose time compared to Michael Schumacher, and as you can see on the replay, just went down the inside. Pretty simple move, and I'm going to leave those 3 for dead as I chase after the McLaren of David Coulthard. But I had to go in for my pit stop first, which was an interesting debacle, because I believe a couple of seasons ago I got a penalty for speeding down the pit lane, but I hope that I don't this time, as for some reason I think the Sauber garage might be mine, but now go into mine. And we're going to see how long this pit stop is. We need a good one if we're going to get anywhere near David Coulthard and Michael Schumacher. So let's hope this pit stop is good from the BAR guys. Seems okay so far. As you get released, it's at 9.4. That's not bad considering we've got 90 litres of fuel in our car. On lap 20, we've got 15 laps to catch up the front runners, and we leave in 8th place. Not bad, but Frenton pits in front of us, and now we're catching up David Coulthard, who just came out the pits, and this is how close we are. So we need to overtake David Coulthard as soon as possible, and we're going to go down the inside. This is a proper lunge, just like a Max Verstappen lunge, and we've made it down the inside. A brilliant move, as we're now going to look forwards onto the point where we catch up Michael Schumacher, because he hits traffic on lap 26 with 9 laps to go, and he's currently in 2nd, but I believe his brother is in 1st place, but I haven't pitted yet. But we're going to try and catch him up. But behind, there's actually an incident as Mika Hakkinen has crashed into Marquez, and that's Mika Hakkinen without front wings. He's going to drop back through the pack. We've got Juan Pablo Montoya overtaking Ralf Schumacher here after he's pit, and there's a big accident between all 3 cars. Mika Hakkinen has lost his rear wing and Ralf Schumacher, so that's them both out of the race. Juan Pablo Montoya can carry on though. He's only lost the front wing, as we saw from the Prost. A big accident between those title contenders there. But on lap 28, we are slipstreaming Michael Schumacher for the lead of this Grand Prix. I'm going to go down the inside at the very famous chicane. We're going to try. We stuck it down the inside, have taken the line, but he's cut across the chicane. He's got the run. And we're now going to slipstream him down into turn 1. Are we going to actually win this race? Are we going to overtake Michael Schumacher? We're going to go down the inside, and yes we are. We've made the move, and we've made it stick. So that is something that I couldn't do early in the race. I just couldn't get past him, but now we're in the lead of the race with just a few laps to go. And can we hold on to this lead? Michael Schumacher is of course still very quick, and he will be sticking right behind me all the way to the flag, I predict. So we're now going to skip on to lap 34, where I'm overtaking a Prost, and then something very weird happens under braking. You see that it pulls to the left. I think we've got a puncture or a brake failure or something in one of the tyres, because my braking was completely screwed up there, and suddenly the whole car felt completely unstable. As you can see, braking, it's just pulling to the left horribly, and I just couldn't get it going anywhere. And of course I was trying to keep Michael Schumacher behind me, because this is the 2nd to last lap of the Grand Prix, and then of course this big braking zone, I end up spinning round, and Michael Schumacher crashes into me, and then he crashes into the wall and knocks off his rear wings. It's Michael Schumacher out of the race, 2 races running, and we're without a front wing and a brake failure. We've got no brakes. I mean, I barely managed to slow down for that chicane, and you can see that I didn't actually slow down for it in time, and Michael Schumacher slammed himself into the wall and into myself. So that means that Michael Schumacher is going to be driving around this lap without a rear wing, but he's about 4 seconds ahead of us after our spin, so we need to try and catch him up despite having a brake failure. So at this point I was absolutely on the edge of my seat. Can't believe this is happening on the last lap of the Grand Prix. But you see Michael Schumacher's just in front of us, and then down into the first corner. Just about. No, I don't. See, look, there's no stability at all as I go flying across turn 1 and turn 2. Lucky to not get hit by either of those two cars there, the Sauber or the Jaguar, but we're going to carry on and we're going to ride on boards for this entire last lap. And as you can see, I was just about struggling. I couldn't get it turned in now with no front wing, and with the brake failure made it even worse because the car under brake just wasn't slowing down. And of course the acceleration was fine, there was nothing wrong with the engine, but I just couldn't turn properly, I couldn't brake properly. As you can see here, I'm pretty much straight lining every corner. I'm losing tons of time to David Coulthard. David Coulthard was something like 15 seconds behind, and now he's only like 2.9, which is sensational as we head into the next pass of the lap. And I'm going to cut across the chicane here because I'm not going to be able to make it, and I want to catch up Michael Schumacher, and I was really worrying that I was going to spin and hit the wall and that would be the end of my race. So I'm going to carry on and I'm going to try my best to try and catch up Michael Schumacher, but you can see him just ahead there, and you can see into the chicane nearly trying to swap ends, and I couldn't use too much engine braking either because of the fact that I blow my engine. But as we're heading down the main straight, Michael Schumacher's only 1.5 seconds ahead of us, but we've got that chicane to negotiate again with no brakes. So we're going to go into the last chicane. Are we going to spin? Are we going to hit the wall? And we're slowing down. We're not really slowing down. We're going to have to cut across the chicane. We've jumped over the curb. Michael Schumacher has pulled into the pit lane, which means that we are going to win this race sensationally here in Canada. What a race that was, packed full of action, and on that last lap the car was completely undrivable. My lap time was absolutely terrible. I know that I skipped over chicanes, which you may say I shouldn't have done, but if I went for the normal turn it, I would have spun, I would have crashed, and that would have been me out. So on safety grounds, you have to say that I did the right thing, but I've won the Canadian Grand Prix with no front wing, as I'll now hand you over to the commentator.
It's been a scintillating Canadian Grand Prix. Let's take a look at the final results. The BAR driver first. David Coulthard second. Barrichello third. Branson fourth. Raikkonen fifth. Villeneuve sixth.
With Michael Schumacher actually finishing 11th because we didn't manage to lap that many cars in this race due to the amount of battling, means that the main guy leading the championship gets no points yet again. We pick up another victory. David Coulthard second, Barrichello third, Frentzen for Jordan getting good points to try and catch up to Minardi, as I'll now hand you over to the drivers' standings.
With the results confirmed, it's high time we updated the Drivers' Championship. Michael Schumacher first.
This is a sensational turn of events. We suddenly find ourselves only 9 points off of Michael Schumacher, third place in the drivers' standings. Can we make a go at this World Championship? I think we can. I think we have the pace. Now we're back in the groove of the game, so let's see how that goes as I hand you over to the constructors' standings.
Stay ahead in the Constructors' Championship, despite having their lead reduced by this result. McLaren are second, followed by the third-placed Williams.
Unfortunately, we don't move anywhere in the Constructors' standings, but I really hope you enjoyed this race. Probably the most exciting race I've done in the 2001 season, and the most exciting race I've done in well over a year. Really enjoyed this race, so please like if you did as well, and I will see you for the next video, which I believe is the European Grand Prix at the Nürburgring. Bye-bye.